good to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, Dominic, you played Sergeant Healy, who has a first name, but it's very rarely mentioned. It's Tony.
Or Anthony, if you're being very...
If you're being... I'd imagine that most fellas in Cork would have called him Anthony Healy if he was real.
They would, absolutely,
And Hilary, obviously, you play Mairead.
Indeed.
Dememi, even though you're very young to be Dememi.
Oh, thanks very much.
Exactly. And Shane, your character is the slightly wayward Billy Murphy.
Yeah, he's a lovely chap. He's gorgeous, he's beautiful, he's very affectionate and loving, and a great singer as well.
It's a great singer as well, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, sorry.
He's also very modest.
Very modest, yeah, to be fair, both on and off camera. That scene, right, before we move on to the business of the whole comedy, that scene just lit up the world. And sometimes in comedy that happens. Like, you know, the Alan Partridge scene of singing at the end of the show, that scene. Did you know when you were filming it, Shane, that there was going to be a resonance, that people were going to instantly get on board, but pardon the pun, with it?
I had a feeling, we were up in Marymount, the old Marymount up in St. Luke's, and I think for most people in Cork, that's a kind of, I suppose, special place. We've all been to Marymount and visited people who were sick, and this new building was converted to where we were rehearsing, and I remember the day that we were rehearsing it, it kind of all came together and we thought, oh, this might be good. And I don't think originally I was supposed to be singing the song. I think originally it was supposed to be another character.
You always say that.
I do.
I actually agree.
I think it was supposed to be. Yeah.
It's supposed to be the guy who sings the long held note. He was supposed to sing it.
Yeah.
But he didn't know the tune. So Shane was like, I know how to sing it. He sang it and then he got the part.
Yeah.
And really?
Yeah,
so in other words, you were fully endorsed. Look, let's roll it back to the very start. The Young Offenders was made quite literally on a shoestring. Some of it was filmed very close to here. And you guys at the time would have been known for various different bits and pieces, but it was this fantastic launchpad. Now, Hilary, obviously you're married to Peter, who is the director. I'm not sure how much choice you had of being involved in it, because I suppose everybody was thrown in at the deep end. But when he took on the responsibility with a script, a bit of hope, and a bit of an idea, I mean, it was a risky business decision, wasn't it?
It was. So, okay, if you backtrack a little bit before that, obviously, like you said, we had done various projects together, and we had our own production company together. So he and I have a company together. And then we knew that there was a bit of time that was going to be free to us that summer, but we still were had just finished up one project, so we were still in touch with a lot of crew, and we thought, okay, we've got this period of time, why don't we try and make something? So he came to me with the idea and said, I need to do my first feature. That's basically what he said. I really need to do a feature film. I really think we can do it this summer. So let's take a gamble on it. And I said, okay, yeah. I said, let's do it. So we kind of cobbled together the little bit of finance that we had. We self-funded the film.
Which is a big risk.
It was a big, big risk, because at the time I found out I was pregnant with our first child. So it was an even bigger risk, because we're going, okay, if this doesn't work, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? I don't know. So it was a big risk, but we got some amazing people on board. We got Julie, who co-produced it with us, and Judy, who's actually working here as well today, she was involved, and loads of others, like amazing local crew, and we just made it work.
But when you spoke to the two lads initially, I mean, you were getting them, like, being an actor is tough, and we're going to come to that in a minute, but, you know, how do you convince somebody to get involved in a project that may or may not be seen by anybody?
We have to remember, though, so when we auditioned for the two lead roles, which was Chris and Alex's roles in the end, like Chris and Alex, I mean, Alex had a little bit of drama experience. Chris was in drama school in his first year in drama school. So it didn't take much convincing, because they weren't coming from a massive background, having a wealth of experience. They had no experience whatsoever on camera. So it was like we worked very closely with their families and their parents as well to say, hey, this is going to be a big project. It will take the summertime to do it. Are you guys on board? We'll need all your support. And, you know, the lads wanted to do it, so...
Which is good. So you
are.
had a starting point. And then, at what point did you get the call, Dom, that you were going to get in on this?
Well, I'd worked with Peter before on a TV series called The Fear. I did a little bit on that. And also I did a music video with Hilary in the past as well. And I'd worked with Hilary. So I'm not sure how my name got mentioned to him. But I had never done a feature film
you were
before.
top of the list.
I was top of the list, apparently.
Telling you that now, no questions asked.
Yeah. We've nobody else in mind for the part. Peter contacted me. He said, I've got a really good script that I'd like you to read. There's a character that I'm interested in you playing. I went in, I read the script, really, really liked it, went in, did a bit of improv around the character. We had a little chat. He was very eager to hear what my ideas were for the character as well. And I think the lads will agree with me, throughout the entire process, Peter was always kind of going, let's bring in your ideas as well.
Yeah, now, to be fair, was it your idea that you hooked up with Mairead, or was that
That was
something
Peter's,
that came
bizarrely, yeah.
That was his idea, was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All the kissing
socially
scenes,
awkward.
he was like, really go for it. You know? Well, in the music video that I did with Hilary, and I'm sure Hilary will have no problem me mentioning this.
Well, you're in the middle of it now. So.
But I kind of have to.
It's hard to stop.
I can't dig out as such. My character was Hilary's love interest in this music video as well, and the character she was playing had a very interesting fetish, I suppose you'd call it, in that she enjoyed having a tongue stuck into her ear.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it as well, yeah.
Oh, another thing we've got in common.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not just him.
When we were filming it,
That's why they're on either side of me.
I know, yes, we're nearly there.
Here.
He's nearly finished it, I'm sure.
You know what? I think that was done so that there would be no kissing involved.
Okay,
But then we
interesting.
went to another level and we're like, we can't keep doing that.
well, anyway, it came to the time where I was supposed to stick my tongue into Hilary's ear, and I thought, because I was a naive actor, I was like, I'll pretend that I'm sticking my tongue into her ear. And then Peter was like, no, stop. He was like, really go for it. really go for it. So I was like, look.
Well, at least you knew your place.
There you go.
Shane, your role, again, like the lads were acting.
I was going to say, should I compare the two of them?
No, don't.
not on
For the love of
stage, not on
God,
stage.
some young people in the audience.
Yeah.
For you, Shane, like you're, again, not away from the kissing in the ear, your background is a kind of an intriguing background because, like, what was your, I know you go to UCC now and you do lectures up there and you speak to people a lot.
Well, not quite lectures.
Well,
yet,
you
but
talk,
yeah,
if we
yeah,
can put it that way, and
yeah.
you speak about your experience. But education was a little different for you, wasn't it?
Yeah,
You didn't have the chance to go to university and acting came late, didn't it?
Yeah, I would have loved to have had the opportunity to go to Dublin and train, or maybe go to London and train, but that didn't present itself. And I suppose that's the same thing with business and so on. But I suppose I took the long way around to get to where I wanted to be, and that's how myself and Hilary got to know each other, was through Coláiste Stefan Nefa. You know, it wasn't a massive fee-paying school. It was a year that you could take an opportunity and have a go off it and see if you wanted to progress. And luckily it went quite well for the both of us that year, and that's how I kind of got to know Hilary, and then off the back of that I suppose Peter knew me.
But people would have probably said to you, Shane, you're not making a career out of acting, you're taking the hard path there, lad. Could you not
Well,
do
I
something
actually,
better?
the funny thing was, and I suppose Dominic can confirm this as well, there was a period of time where I was making a living out of this and wasn't known at all, because there was little grants that were set up to support companies like Meridian, like Cork and Graffiti out the road. And luckily I would get a little bit of work from Meridian Theatre Company. Johnny Hanrahan was very good to me, and Graffiti out the road were very good to the pair of us. So we had the opportunity to work on kind of not community projects, but like theatre and education plays. Basically go into schools for guys like the lads up the top and put on a show and hope, and I don't mean to be vulgar, that it wasn't shit, because we felt there was an abundance of plays being put on for schools that weren't of any good quality.
So you need to bring a little bit to it.
And it's interesting as well, Jonathan, you're talking about like people not thinking that they could make a career out of it, kind of our generation, which like I came to acting very late in the day as well, because I felt, I don't think I can make a career out of it, because even when I went to Coláiste Stefan Nefa, there was no college courses offered that offered you a degree in acting per se. Like that's available now, so it's available in various different colleges around Ireland and further afield.
But the one thing they don't teach you, right, and again, I was speaking to the guys backstage, you're all kind of little entrepreneurs. You're individual businesses. I mean, and we'll come to what you're doing now in a minute, but you have to develop an entrepreneurial sense, don't you?
You have to, because like what I found, especially when you graduate as an actor, there's no real thing. You don't go for an apprenticeship. You don't go, and become an apprentice doctor or whatever.
You don't walk out on a stage like this and hope for the best.
Yeah, so it's like it's a very tough world that you find yourself in. So you have to be flexible and you have to adapt and you have to realize that you're a sole trader and you're functioning as such. So you are your own accountant, you're your own admin person, you're your own PR person. And I always think of the phrase, there is no business like show business. And that the word business is mentioned twice in that phrase, but it's something that's not really taught in drama school. So it's about, like, I think, of the 100% of people who graduated, how many people would make it percentage-wise? Probably 80%, maybe.
Wow.
And that's just a rough guesstimate, but that I think is because they don't have their heads around the business of what you need to do as an actor.
Yeah, because it is a business. And like, you're all using the skills that you've gotten to date in life, and then the opportunity with the young offenders. Like Cahoots is huge. Last time I was in this particular building, I was on stage with you here.
Yes.
And not wishing to, you know, because it's not just because you're here, you were very good. But there is now a business model behind that, isn't there?
Well, I mean, I think Shane and Hilary will agree about this. There's no point in sitting around and waiting for the phone to ring as an actor. You have to be proactive. You have to create your own work. We all write as well. I set up a production company a few years ago called Cahoots, and it was very much an idea of like, we're going to make our own work. Artistically, we're going to put our own stuff out there. The business model as such is you develop a social media following online, and you monetize that through live stage shows and TV commissions. But you get the TV commissions and you get the stage shows because we have nearly 30,000 followers on Facebook. So when we come to the Opera House, or when we come to the Everyman, or whoever it is, and we say, can we put on a live show here? We have hard evidence then that we're going to be able to fill out the theatre.
Because it's effectively, you've taken out a marketing plan for yourself. You developed a marketing plan and ran to a strategy. Shane, for you, I mean, you're gone in a completely different direction now as well in terms of coaching. But again, you probably wouldn't have the profile like that to go on and do what you're doing without the program. So
Well, yeah, I was very... It takes a while to find a maturity within yourself that I think comes from resilience. You know, you also need to be able to go, like seeing the guys in Cahoots making a go of it should be encouraging for me, not like, oh shit, they've got their piece of the pie, where's mine? And that takes a while to come. It really does. You need to be mature. So I've been lucky, like Cahoots, and purely off the back of the young offenders, I had a show years ago called Wet Paint, but from the profile of the young offenders that they stick a poster on the side of this building, and I get to do my play in here. So it should be self-serving, as Dominic pointed out, a very, very good thing, and it's part of the hustle. If I was casting a play myself, or looking for somebody to work with, whether I'm whatever, I need to know that they love their job, whether it's acting on stage or theatre or film, which I'm sure Peter probably did. You have to assess the person you're working with. And when Dominic said, we all write, that's a very good telling sign. That means if we're not working, we're making the work.
Yeah, and I think that there's a learning in that for a student base as well.
Yes.
That it's what has changed, and I've spoken at length about this before. The idea of you go to college or school and they send you out and that was it. Good luck and find your own way. People are using networking, entrepreneurship, the simple things. Like, I mean, to have the bravery to make the call that you did, let's go and do it. I mean, but not every time. You're not going to succeed every time, but you learn when you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the thing. Like, it was a big gamble for us. And at the end of the day, we didn't set goals for ourselves like, oh, we want to make X amount of money, or we want to do this, or we want to do that. The way we actually stood back and looked at it as a piece when it was finished was, I'm really happy with that piece. And we achieved the goal that we wanted to do, which was to make a feature and to make it good. But even if it's good, you don't know where it's going to go. Because it's got, you know, the stars have to align a little bit. So we were just really happy with the work that we did. And when you're happy with your work, I think people start to pay attention with it.
Final question. We're heading to season 3, which I believe it's already filmed, is it? Is it already in the can? Okay. Was there any ear licking coming up to look forward to? Or?
I am not at liberty to disclose whether there was or there wasn't any ear licking.
There may be something. What can we look forward to in series 3? So Billy's still in it, I'm presuming, is he?
You can't tell them anything.
I can't tell them.
Are we completely locked down? We are.
Like I got censored.
What we can say is there is the season 3.
Yeah.
It's already filmed and
we
arguably going to be the best of all of them, I think.
Yeah, I think you're contractually obliged to say yes, it is the best of all of them.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it being not. But look, it's
I think the opportunity was before you. Peter was going to get the film made. There's an abundance of people who say they're going to do things and they never do it. But that's the opportunity that myself and Dominic took by jumping on board. Do you get what I mean?
I do. What's the one bit of advice that I'm going to ask you all this question just to finish up? What's the one bit of advice you give to this group at this stage in their career right now, Shane?
Do something that can subsidise what you want to do if you're not in the field you want to be in.
Okay. Hilary?
Like I was painting railings when the film was in the cinema.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Outside the cinema in Santry, people were going in and out of the cinema to see a film that I was in. And that was a very strange experience, but that was also part of the resilience, I think, that you need to keep moving forward.
Did anyone kind of spot you on the way out?
Well, the guy I was working with brought a girl to the cinema that night, and he got lucky, so...
The system works.
There was some sort of success out of it.
Hilary, what's your advice?
Advice, I think, oh, let me think. I think creativity and ideas are paramount to what you guys are going to be doing going forward in your lives, whether it's your own personal life or your professional life or what you're studying. Always follow what I call the golden thread of an idea, because you never know where it'll end up. And it's usually a positive thing. And what you start out to do normally isn't where you end up, but I call it the golden thread. Yeah. Follow the golden thread.
Follow the golden thread. I like that, Dominic.
I would say pay attention. Every situation you're in, pay attention. With regard to cahoots and coming up with sketches, our inspiration is around us. You know, we listen to conversations. Most of my ideas that I get for sketches or for a TV series or whatever it is are based on things that I observe in the world happening around me. If you're not paying attention to that, you're not going to get the inspiration you need. So just pay attention wherever you go, whatever you're doing.
Okay. Folks, can we have a huge round of applause, not just for the panel, but for the young offenders, ladies and gentlemen. Dominic McHale, Shane Casey and Hilary Rose. Thanks very much, guys. We leave you head off stage. It has been a fantastic day, folks. I hope you have enjoyed it.